Why, hello there, I'm Professor Joel, and welcome to another episode of Planet Scooby Reviews. Today we are covering the Chinese fortune Kooky caper, and this episode originally aired on November 25th, 1978 as part of the Scooby's All-Stars, and it sees the gang visiting China where they run into a legendary moon monster of Rampoo. We never know where the gang are heading as they conveniently get a flat tire right in front of the palace where the moon monster is reported to wander. There they meet Kim Chow Ling, who is inheriting some family jewels when he turns 25 the very next day, and he's advised to toss those jewels into the bay or forever be cursed by the moon monster. While I was familiar with this episode, it was never one that stayed on my radar. I never hear any Scooby fans really talk about this episode either, and nobody recommended it to me. So is it a hidden gem or is it a lump of coal? Let's find out. The episode begins with some cool shots of a Chinese village with a full moon high in the sky. Near a bridge, a furry glowing monster with Asian decorative art on his face peers into the water and roars. In the Mystery Machine, Daphne is excited to be in China. Shaggy reads a Chinese menu to familiarize himself with the local language. Velma explains they've missed a turn and points at a map explaining they are in Rampoo. Reading her guidebook, Daphne reads about a moon monster that came to Earth on a moonbeam, which entered the palace of Rampoo. And if the moon monster's shadow fell upon you, he would have turned you into stone.
Rampoo, the legendary city of Rampoo, where centuries ago a mysterious creature known as the moon monster came to Earth on a moonbeam. It entered the palace of Rampoo and cast its shadow on the inhabitants, turning anyone on whose shadow it fell into stone.
The Mystery Machine blows a tire right in front of the palace of Rampoo, so Freddy decides to spend the night at the palace and fix the tire in the morning.
It's just a flat tire.
This must be the palace of Rampoo.
Maybe we can stay at the palace tonight and fix the flat in the morning.
Shaggy and Scooby want none of this, so Shaggy does his best to fix the tire on his own. As he attempts to repair the Mystery Machine, the moon monster appears and frightens our cowardly duo. Shaggy and Scooby both faint and wake up in the palace. We are introduced to Rampoo and Kim Chow Ling. Kim Chow Ling is an American and the new owner of the palace, and he is curious about Shaggy's Fable. Kim then suggests that the full moon played tricks on Shaggy's mind and that the moon monster is a fable. Kim introduces the gang to Chin Wong Sing, his uncle. Mr. Sing explains that they are in a period of celebration. Upon turning 25 tomorrow, Kim is going to receive his family's priceless jewels and gold. Rampoo explains that the jewels are cursed and Kim needs to get rid of them or everyone in the palace is doomed because they will turn into stone.
Relax, Shaggy. This is Rampoo.
Shaggy, Scooby, this is Kim Chow Ling.
What's this about the moon monster?
Moon monster? You saw him? I'm afraid that the full moon's known for playing tricks upon one's eyes. May I introduce you to my uncle, Chin Wong Sing?
Our guests should not travel so late at night. You have arrived at a time of great celebration. Tomorrow, upon reaching his 25th birthday, Kim is to fulfill the ancient legacy and take possession of the family's priceless treasure of jewels and gold.
But the treasures have a curse on them. To not dispose of them will surely anger the moon monster and bring his return. If you keep them, everyone in the palace will be in danger. Everyone.
Spending the night, the moon monster frightens Scooby and Shaggy once more, and after some hijinks, they get away. Running to the rest of the gang, where they are with Kim, Velma spots the moon monster outside in a boat. The fog is thick, so they lose the moon monster in the lake as he paddles away.
You really think there could be a moon monster, Kim?
He was just in our room, fangs and all.
Perhaps I should take these legends more seriously.
It's the moon monster, and he's getting away. We can't let him get out of our sight.
It's too late, Velma. The fog's too thick. We've lost him.
Kim shows Shaggy and Scooby the treasures and explains that he has to throw all the jewels and gold into the bay or else the curse remains.
So, that's the family treasure.
But the legend states that I've got to throw it all in the bay or meet the fate of the moon monster.
The dinner gong goes off at 2 a.m. and Shaggy doesn't question this. He just runs to the kitchen where he finds the moon monster along with Uncle Chin turned to stone. Velma's not fooled as she finds some grease streaks on the floor that stop at a wall.
What was that?
It's the dinner gong.
Any time is dinner time.
Uncle Chin!
He's been turned into stone.
What do you suppose these greasy streaks mean?
In Uncle Chin's room, Kim shows off his uncle's ancient tools that he was collecting.
That carving tool, for instance, is worth a fortune.
Outside, some lightning strikes and Rampoo once more shows up and tells Kim to get rid of his treasures.
Dispose of your treasure, Kim Chow Ling. If you do not, we are all at the mercy of the moon monster. You are the only one who can save us.
Back outside, Freddy, Daphne, and Velma investigate the bay by getting in a boat and paddling out to see how the moon monster escaped. Shaggy and Scooby are instructed to investigate the palace grounds. In the water, Fred gets caught up in a current and he can't row out of it, so they are forced into a cave by some waves. Over the years, the waves have brought in lots of junk. Inside the cave, they find a tunnel, which they set off to explore. Back on the palace grounds, Scooby and Shaggy run into the moon monster for a third time. The glowing furry beast takes chase and we get more kooky hijinks until they escape into the palace. While hiding in the palace, they see a secret door shaking, so they press on it, and as the door turns, Freddy, Daphne, and Velma emerge. In this moment of confusion, Shaggy and Scooby spill a jar of flour and it falls on them, making them glow. The flour is some sort of fluorescent powder.
What were you doing behind the wall?
Panicking.
Watch out!
Click off the lights, Velma.
It's the moon monster!
You're glowing.
That flour isn't flour at all. It's some special kind of fluorescent powder.
Kim decides to throw the jewels in the bay to fulfill the ancient legend and rid themselves of the monster.
Like you should throw the gold into the bay.
Trust us, Kim. We think we can help.
My legacy! My treasures!
Freddy agrees, but he wants to throw the treasure into the bay as a trap. Everyone then heads to the secret cave where the jewels are washed up by the current. There they confront the moon monster, who steals the jewels and runs past them. Freddy and the girls take chase, and Scooby and Shaggy have already made their way out of the secret tunnel and they are outside at the bridge. And Scooby and Shaggy use the bridge to knock the moon monster into the water. With the jewels safe and the monster caught, Velma unmasks the moon monster. The moon monster turns out to be Uncle Chin, who wanted the treasure for himself.
Uncle Chin!
He used the legend of the moon monster to try and frighten you out of your legacy.
Uncle Chin faked the statue by carving it using his ancient tools. Those tools were really valuable and he scratched up his tools and dulled them even more.
That carving tool, for instance, is worth a fortune.
You'd think he would have went to Home Depot or something to get a modern chisel, but whatever. Maybe that sort of thing was hard to get in his region at the time. The grease marks Velma spotted earlier were just how he pushed the statue in from the secret passage and into the kitchen. Uncle Chin knew that the tides would wash anything thrown into the bay back into the cave, so all he had to do was wait in the cave for the jewels to arrive, steal them, and escape. With another mystery solved, the gang head off to their next adventure. I give this episode a 7.5 out of 10, and I already know someone's just going to hit the dislike button because of that. But I didn't find this episode that great. I found it kind of average. The moon monster looks cool enough, and while he made Scooby and Shaggy faint, I didn't find him incredibly frightening. His design looks cool, but he just kind of looks like a man in a blue furry bodysuit at the end of the day. I like that they were in China, but you kind of tell that the writers knew very little about Chinese culture or lore. They did kind of, make this Asian theme and such, but I'd love to see this episode modernized with some Asian writers who are familiar with Chinese history and such. I think that would make for a really cool episode. This episode just doesn't hit the mark for me. While we did get some cool Velma, Daphne, and Freddy scenes, there's no chemistry or life to them, as they just kind of wander around and look for clues. So whenever they're on screen, they find clues. That's about it. Scooby and Shaggy, they just get their typical hijinks where they run into the monster. I think they run the monster like 3 or 4 times and they run away and, they do the gags, which I do like, but there is a lot of that happening. It was getting formulaic, and I guess the writers realized that too, because the next year, 1979, we get introduced to Scrappy Doo. Still, I didn't hate this episode. It was a pretty good time. I appreciate the change in location, but again, like American Chinese food, this episode will kind of leave you hungry for the real thing. Anyway, thank you for your likes, views, and subscribes. I have 2 more episodes to review, And then I'll have my ranking of episodes for this season. This one won't be my least favorite, but I'm pretty sure it might be in the bottom 5. We'll see. We'll find out. Anyway, until next week when I will be covering A Menace in Venice, stay spooky.
It's the moon monster, and he's getting away.
He's been turned into stone.
Like you should throw the gold into the bay.
Trust us, Kim. We think we can help.
My legacy, my treasures.